Hi. Today in this video I will tell you a beach horror story. The title of story is The Tides of Torment. So let's start the video. The sun had barely dipped below the horizon when Lisa and her friends arrived at the secluded beach, a little-known stretch of sand that promised serenity away from the summer crowds. They had heard about this hidden gem from a local fisherman, who had spoken of its beauty with an unsettling edge of mystery. The air was cool and crisp, the ocean's rhythmic whisper a welcome lullaby. The friends Lisa, Mark, Jenna, and Chris set up their campsite, their laughter echoing in the fading light. As the sky turned to deep indigo, they lit a fire, its crackling warmth contrasting sharply with the encroaching cold of the night. After some time, Mark wandered away from the group, drawn to the shore by a strange compulsion. The moon hung full and heavy in the sky, casting a silvery path across the water. As Mark walked along the wet sand, he noticed something peculiar: a series of ancient, rune-like symbols etched into the sand, partially obscured by the tide. Mark crouched down to inspect them, but a sudden chill ran down his spine. The symbols seemed to shift and writhe under the moonlight, as if alive. He stood up abruptly and turned to head back to the fire, but found himself standing still, unable to move. His friends noticed his absence and went to search for him. Lisa called out, her voice trembling with growing concern. As they reached the spot where Mark had been, the symbols had vanished, replaced by smooth, untouched sand. Lisa's voice was barely more than a whisper, the night air thick with foreboding. Suddenly, a low, guttural growl echoed from the depths of the ocean, sending shivers through the group. They stumbled back, their eyes wide with fear. The tide began to rise unnaturally fast, waves crashing violently against the shore. In the darkness, something enormous began to emerge from the water. The creature was a mass of writhing tentacles and distorted, ghostly faces, its form both mesmerizing and horrifying. Its eyes, glowing with a malevolent light, locked onto the friends as they scrambled away from the advancing waves. It was as if the ocean itself had become a sentient, vengeful entity. The group tried to run, but the sand beneath their feet felt like quicksand, pulling them back toward the beast. Jenna screamed as a tentacle wrapped around her ankle, dragging her towards the churning sea. Chris and Mark tried to pull her free, but their efforts were in vain. The creature's grasp was relentless. In a last-ditch effort, Lisa grabbed a piece of driftwood and swung it at the beast, but it was like striking a shadow. The creature roared in frustration, its voice a cacophony of despair and rage. In the midst of the chaos, Mark, whose trance had worn off, ran to grab Jenna's hand. With a burst of strength, he yanked her free from the creature's grip, but the cost was high. The water surged around them, rising with a force that threatened to pull them under. As dawn began to break, the beast retreated back into the ocean, leaving behind only the mangled remains of their camp and the eerie, empty beach. The once beautiful place was now a graveyard of twisted debris and sorrow. Lisa, Mark, and the surviving friends stared out at the receding tide, their faces pale and hollow. They knew they would never speak of this night again. The beach, once a hidden paradise, had revealed its true nature: a place of ancient darkness and unrelenting terror. From that day on, no one ventured near the cursed stretch of sand. The locals spoke in hushed tones of the malevolent force that lay beneath the waves, a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the unknown depths of the world. And as for Lisa and her friends, they carried with them the haunting memory of the tides of torment, a reminder of the night when the ocean itself had become a monstrous, relentless predator.